So today was day 3 of a state of emergency in St. John's, Newfoundland. And what was different was seeing that some of the side connector streets, the hilly ones, were cleared. There was wider plowing on some of the main streets, and George Street was plowed. Water Street was a bit wider. More people were out walking with their dogs and everything. People were skiing, people were snowboarding. The one thing I have to say I wasn't prepared for with this storm was the legal state of being in an emergency, which means that nothing was allowed to be opened. So 3 days straight, you've not been able to get any supplies. And it's been a little surreal and a little bit Mad Max, actually.
So, I mean, yesterday, for example, there was very little evidence of it. I saw like 2 people carrying a coffee, and then like the second person, I said, "Oh my God, where did you get that coffee?" And so I found out there was actually a hotel that, had a generator and, were keeping open just to feed their guests. And they were also serving people that walked in, which was great. Today I saw a guy like randomly carrying a 6-pack of beer. And then, a couple minutes later, coming from the same direction, I saw somebody carrying like a, case of Pepsi and, some chips and stuff like that. So I actually stopped the second guy and I said, where's open? And he said, oh, the gas station, they were open for people who were buying gas, but then they promptly shut. So it was like really inconsistent. And then I actually have some video footage of a store, looks like a sole proprietor kind of store that ended up opening later in the day today on Sunday the 19th. And there was a huge lineup, so I have footage of that. So it's really been bizarre, because I don't recall a time in my life where there's ever been like stat holidays where everything shut down for 3 days in a row. I mean, even in Toronto when there was a huge power outage, I mean, everything was still open. You just had to pay cash, and and that was more what I was expecting, because even the store down the road, they said, oh yeah, we're allowed to be open during the day if there's no power, but then everything's cash. So you know what, I was anticipating maybe a few days of having to like be in blankets, and I anticipated a few days of, but I'm starting to run out of toilet paper, because I thought that, okay, once the storm passes, I can at least go out and buy something with cash. And that's not the case, because the state of emergency does not allow businesses to even open. And it's creating this like just bizarre mentality of seeing people line up to be allowed in 2 by 2 to the one store that I saw that was open today. I didn't want to line up. I mean, my gosh, I'll survive for sure. But it's just a really, really interesting phenomenon and state of mind to observe in myself and others.
Just down on Water Street. And this is a more common sight today. Seeing dump trucks full of snow coming through. And even obeying the traffic today, which is, I don't know if anybody was paying attention to them yesterday. There's no one on the road. There's a random car, still not supposed to be on the road. Down at the port, St. John's here, and that ship over there, the Louis Saint Laurent, it's the Coast Guard, and you can see the dump trucks coming in with full of snow, and they are going to dump, and then that tractor guy there pushes it into the water. That seems to be the strategy for getting rid of these absolute mountains. You see? See, I have to look way up just to see the top of it. And there they go, doing the best they can to dump it straight into the water. All that snow. Incredible amount of snow. There's another 2 truckloads, and I just saw 2 more leave before those arrive. Oh, and here's another one. So, gosh, an hourly count? Well, let's see, I've been here about 4 minutes, and I've seen 6. So that's pretty incredible. That's a pretty incredible amount of snow. That's military coming in.
So you can see there's a few businesses here on Water Street that are clearing out that snowbank and getting ready to rock and roll as soon as the city will let them do it. This Cojones place, Yellow Belly, and the Celtic Hearth seem ready to go.
Just taking a good look at George Street now too. Shamrock City, Kelly's, Christians. So far I don't see anybody with their doorways cleared as though they're itching to get back open. However, Yellow Bellies on Water Street and the Celtic Hearth do have their whole sidewalks clear and ready for business, should they be allowed to open in the morning. Do we have any signs of life? Or just not as much snow drifting? Well, maybe nothing yet at O'Reilly's. Oh yeah, O'Reilly's. They have live music there, I think most nights of the week. And the Green Sleeve, that also has live music most nights of the week. Thing that surprised me though is how many of the pubs, want you to pay a cover charge just to go in and have a beer, even on a weeknight. It was interesting. So one of the pubs I went to, I paid the fee, and I actually didn't even stay long enough for a drink because I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm into this. So anyway, that's the unfortunate part. Now, Bridie Malloy's. Ooh, there is evidence of sidewalk clearing at Bridie Malloy's. But then again, they're connected to the Celtic Hearth, so that's probably why. So far, that's all I see for George Street.